They used 420 as a code for when they would smoke after school before their parents got home.
Yep, I've had lots of code words in my day. Lots of code words.
No, you just say it. You don't need to hide it. You just say it. You're like, I don't need a code word. I'm just going to say it.
That's right. That is right. No code words here. We just give you straight facts. No bullshit. That's what we do here at Kristen's Unbuttoned.
Oh, man. Kristen's got one already.
One right off the bat. Boom. She's got to go put the button in that goes boop.
Well, but what's
up?
This whole part off.
Maybe. I don't know. This is a great intro, by the way. Thank you. But hello, Ahmed.
Hello.
How are you?
I've been in Premier League World for the last 4 days.
Right.
Which has also been Super League.
Super League World.
Super League World.
Right.
And for the best way that I can explain it, if people out there, if our homies are not European soccer fans.
Yeah, I don't even know a lot about this.
The best way to put it, this is what's happening. It's like it's a whole restructuring, perhaps, of the of European football.
Right.
The Premier League would stay the same, so those
Yeah.
English clubs would still be in there, we think, if this happened, which it might not happen. But it'd be kind of like if Duke, North Carolina college basketball, UCLA, maybe Michigan State, still played in all their conferences, ACC, Big Ten. They still did all that stuff, went for conference titles. But instead of going to the NCAA tournament, they just made their own tournament and just played themselves each year. So Duke would always get into this new tournament.
Yeah.
And so that's what some of the biggest clubs in Europe are trying to do.
That's cool, but what if Duke sucks like they did this last year?
That's the question,
right?
That's the uproar.
Right.
Is that this should be merit-based.
Right.
The NCAA tournament should be merit-based, and this extra tournament should be
merit-based.
I mean, that's the exact
I would agree with that. I mean, you can't pull that off in the NFL, not with salary cap and free agency as even as the things are, right? Like, there's no, we know who the big market teams are, the traditional powers, but it's not necessarily like I want to see them in a Super League every year from now to the end of time.
Right.
I mean, some of these teams are crappy now.
The idea would be that in the NFL analogy would be like, okay, say in your current system, you're not getting a Cowboys versus Giants or Washington every year.
Yeah.
And so that's what these big clubs are thinking. It's like, we want, Manchester United versus Real Madrid every single year, and we're not currently getting that, so I get it from their perspective. But it's not going to happen because people are mad. People are angry.
Good. That's like to hear it.
And people are angry at millionaires and billionaires now more than ever. So
I know. Well, they have a reason to be. I mean, because they keep getting richer and everybody else getting poorer.
I know.
All right, so let's talk about real football now, okay? Enough of that fake football. You're on a real football podcast, okay? A real one.
Don't tell them that you
I
said
know,
that.
I'm joking.
Okay, so we do have a lot of, and we say this every time, like one day we're going to come here and go, we got nothing to talk about.
I don't know,
will
we? Because the days we've had that, we've still gone, we got plenty to unpack here.
We'll only go an hour, an hour and a half.
Yes.
So we got to Ask Me Anything. A lot of quarterback questions coming in still.
Cool.
We got your dad on. Going to talk a little quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Some draft quarterbacks, some of the quarterbacks who have moved teams as well.
You never know with Dad.
Later on in this podcast, we're going to do the tight end rankings.
Yep.
And what I want to do right now is you often stand in this podcast. I'm going to give you a standing ovation. I'm going to stand because that is the end of your prospect rankings.
Oh, thank you.
You've gotten to the end of the line, and I want to say that I and all of us appreciate all the work you do.
Thank you.
With these prospects.
Thank
I
you.
know that you look at not just games and highlight films, you look at every snap for most of these prospects. You avoid your family, and some of that is you want to do that, but some of it is like a chore, and you have to do it.
It is.
And so, I think it's really cool that you put in the work and you look at these guys and you have a different perspective just because I don't think a lot of people are doing that.
Thanks.
And
Thanks
you're doing that.
Thanks. It's good. It's a big stress off my life, I'll tell you that much.
Being done now?
Yes, because, it's one of those things where it's just like the list seems forever that you're looking at, and you're just like, okay, I'm going to chip away. It's day one. Whoa, I'm not even close. And it makes me anxious. It gives me anxiety because I was always just like, well, I got a few more guys I got to watch. Ooh, I hope I watched everybody I needed to watch.
Yeah, because the Patriots are going to take someone that we've never even heard of, and they were like, oh, what?
Really, what I try to do more than anything is just cover my ass for the first 3 rounds. So listen, if you're looking for 6th round picks and things like that, for the most part, this is not the podcast
do it
to
yourself.
go to.
Do it yourself.
Yeah, I don't go that far down the line. But I would say, like, realistically, this is my 3rd notebook full.
Yeah.
I didn't quite fill this up, so I would say I'm around 200 players I've watched, I think. So it's good, but I am glad I'm done, and now I can kind of start to figure out the mock draft and just figure out how this draft goes all together.
We'll do the full mock draft on Monday. I did get a DM of someone who wants like the big board of Chris Sims, where it's got like all the different positions. And so we should do that too. We should make the big board of you so you can follow along during the draft. Before we get into the AMA, the Ask Me Anything, there has been a rebrand in the NFL, sort of.
Let's go.
Well done. Well done.
Uniform police is here.
This is because of Chris Sims, and if you're watching on YouTube, you see it. The new unis for your Cincinnati Bengals, Chris. The stripes are still there.
Yes.
The helmets are basically unchanged.
Cool.
But the jerseys, I think, are different.
All right. Listen, I always had the biggest problem with the helmets. All right. They're not changed. That's okay. That's okay. It's not going to change, as I told you. I was told by someone very high ranking in their organization that was not going to change anytime soon.
Ever.
But I like the unis. Like, you?
So I did too, and I didn't know at first. I was like, okay, I think they look good.
Yeah.
I think they're just better tailored. I think they're just a better fit. I'm not quite sure how they're different. And then there was another tweet out there. I kind of had to go searching for it.
Yeah, they're streamlined for sure.
Kristen will be able to pop it up at some point. Oh, there it is. So that, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see, it was more kind of some more blockiness on the shoulders and maybe piping down the side.
Right.
They've gotten rid of that. And so you're right. It is more simple, classic, streamlined.
I like that. Yeah, we don't need, all those colors on the shoulder. We know what colors they are.
Yep.
I do. I like the way the look there. It's really the first time I've gotten a look at the side of the pant there. Mm-hmm. There's a cool little stripe that's all to it. All right, so out of the ones we've seen so far, and first off, I'm a little surprised with all these uniform combinations. They didn't come up with an orange pants to go all orange with the jersey.
You're right.
That was the only thing I was shocked by a little bit.
Yep.
But out of all of them, what was your favorite look? If you could go back to that first picture, Kristen. And
I like the white.
I know, the Joe Burrow uniform?
Yes.
Yes.
I like the white with Joe Burrow, white pants, white jersey. Yeah. And I did see also on my Twitter searching, there was someone who photoshopped the helmet white as well with that, still with the stripes.
White
still
Tigers.
The black. It was really cool.
Baby. Hey.
They should consider that.
Listen, they need to go to the second helmet thing in the NFL anyways. I mean, come on. We're adding games.
That's a good call.
Yes. I mean, come on. We're adding games. We're adding playoff games. And then we're going, another helmet. That's dangerous to the players.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, seriously? If the colleges can pull it off and have 7 different helmets in 1 year, then I think we could do it too in the NFL.
They go, Antonio Brown doesn't even want to wear the one we give him. How are we going to get him to wear 2 different kinds? It's a huge problem.
They are cool. I think it was a good update of the uniform.
Correct.
I agree with that. I like the all whites. I like the all blacks. And I like the black with the white bottom. That was, I think, my 3 favorites there.
Significantly better than what they had. Yeah. I don't know that alone puts them in a top 10 uniform.
I'm not ready to say that. No, I'm not.
Not even top half.
Again,
it's better than what they had.
When you change this, and if you have some success and start to win some games, it can make it look cooler. All of a sudden you start to go, they're kind of cool. Like, I don't know why. Wins mean it's cooler.
Yes, and then you go, you know what? Do we need the stripes on the helmet? Maybe Chris was right all along. Let's keep changing it. So well done, Bengals.
Way to go, Bengals.
You're going to look a little bit better out on the field.
Bengals.
Still not the best, but better. Bengals.
I have a problem with saying Bengals. I do. I say Bengals like the 80s song music group.
Like Bengals?
And I get crap all the time. Would you stop? That's an 80s
You know what I get crap for?
Group. What?
Elvin and Alvin. Like ALVIN and ELVIN. I say them both the same. Elvin.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I don't even know anybody named Elvin.
Yeah.
Do you know someone named Elvin?
I don't talk about them because people make fun of me if I do.
You're an idiot.
Okay, let's get into the Ask Me Anything. And of course, it is about quarterbacks. Which I have told all my Twitter followers, I've promised them I will not tweet about Mac Jones anymore, Justin Fields, because I've done it too much. I told you I was obsessed. But on the show, we will still talk about it because people are interested.
Yeah.
And they're tweeting us about it. So this one comes from To Mars and Back.
What up, To Mars?
Great name. Hey, Chris, been following since the old pod. And Ahmed, I used to watch you over here in the East Bay.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool. Big fan. All right, with the NFLPA trying to cut down on OTAs, could this be the perfect situation in which Shanahan can keep Jimmy G and have the number 3 pick sit for a year?
Ooh, well, I think it depends on who that number 3 pick is, right? I think that's really the thing, more than anything. Of course, anybody that's listening to the podcast or anything like that, I've been telling you that I feel like guys like Trey Lance and Justin Fields probably need a year. So that scenario, that makes sense. Yeah, for those guys to be there and do that. Now, I'll get into the same thing I've said just with this all together. You Jimmy G, the 49ers, whether you draft a Lance or a Fields with the number 3 pick, there's a good chance they're a good football team this year and they go to the playoffs. And then we're going to have this kind of like, oh, do we really want to put Fields or Lance in? Jimmy G he brought us deep into the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. I think that's very risky. So I'm almost to the point where even with guys like Fields and Lance, I'm like, the hell with sitting out. Just let's play. Let's get out there and play. And I especially feel that way a little bit with Lance. That's where, like, the Lance conversation, whether it's this scenario or the Falcons at 4, right, with Matt Ryan there, and he'll sit. How long are we going to go without this kid playing football? Like, he didn't play last year, so we're going to sit another year out. He only really, he had the 1 year at North Dakota State, so there's limited playing altogether, limited throwing, and we're having another year of just sitting there behind somebody and all that. That's one of my concerns with him all the way. Like, he's like, I heard this cute phrase the other day, and I thought, ooh, that's kind of Trey Lance. Like, he's a year away from being a year away. And that's what I think would scare me a little bit there either way.
Yeah.
But I guess back to the point is, yes, that's a doable scenario. Now, if it's Mac Jones, you're getting Mac Jones or moving up to number 3 if that's the guy you got in your sights.
Yeah.
Because you think he is ready. He is NFL ready. And to me, that's why, again, I go back to I really think it is Mac Jones at number 3 because there's too many ifs, ands, and buts and candies and nuts with the other guys for me, even though they have some really top-end talent traits. There's some negatives there and some ifs and big questions where I can't imagine Shanahan trading up to number 3 for that, but I could be wrong.
Are you starting to think differently, though? Because we did have the Trey Lance second pro day. I think we have some footage of it. And the 49ers were there. Kyle was there, right? John was there, too, John Lynch.
I think so. I don't know that for sure.
And it does seem like his stock is rising to the point where people have talked less about Justin Fields being like the dynamic running, passing quarterback and more about this Trey Lance guy. It seems like the chatter is increasing around him.
I think the chatter is. Well, I think people are intrigued. Listen, as I said, it's a tough eval. First off, I don't love his motion. I don't think it's the most natural throwing motion in the world. I don't. You've heard my concerns with that type of stuff. Added to, he's a big name because of the arm, the athlete. He's extremely smart. I think people like the kid altogether. So I think all those things are positives, right? And I'll say this flat out. I think with most teams, he's surpassed Justin Fields and their quarterback rankings. And I would tell you, again, I don't know, if you remember when I did my quarterback rankings, him and Fields were so close. I gave Fields the advantage just because he played football. But I even said at the time, there's more consistency in the throwing motion of Trey Lance as compared to Fields.
Yeah.
But yes, I think with most teams in the NFL, I think Trey Lance has surpassed Justin Fields as far as where they rank him.
This is a really good one from Syed Ali.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Mac Jones at 3
or
Kellen Mond, who you're very high on, at 12 plus those future picks, a couple first-rounders in the future?
That is a really good one.
You can stay put, keep all your draft picks,
Yeah.
or you can move up to 3, get Mac Jones, but you're down a couple first-rounders.
That is a good one right there. Yeah, I mean, I love Kellen Mond.
Yes.
You know that. I think he is worthy of, somewhere in that area.
12's too high for you?
Yeah, 12 might be a little high, but I mean, there's no such thing as too high for quarterbacks anymore.
Yeah, it's almost like
there's no such thing.
Yes or no, right? Like binary. Like
do you
either
like
are
him or not?
Or you're not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you like him? Do you need a quarterback? I don't care where you think he should go, then go get him.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at. And that's what drives me crazy about the draft. Yet, like I have some coaches who I gotta go, I just don't get it. But yet Patrick Mahomes was like, you're going to put him in the top 10? That's insane.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, I don't know what you were looking at. Go back and watch the film again and then tell me what you missed, right? Which has happened actually a few times where I've had coaches go like, man, it's so apparent. I don't know why I didn't listen to you more during that time and all that. I would probably say Kellen Mond and keep the picks.
You would.
I probably would. Yeah. Now I'm not normal with my Kellen Mond analysis.
No.
I'm definitely, higher than the rest of the world. Like I told you, I think last week, I still think there's a chance he sneaks in the end of the first round. If not, I expect him to be the first guy off the board towards the top of the second round. But yeah, I probably would value those picks, take that. And as I said to you last week, I mean, hey, I love Shanahan and Lynch and have the ultimate. I would have not traded up for number 3 in this draft, period. I wouldn't have done it. I didn't think Mac Jones, Trey Lance, or Justin Fields, any of them are worthy of a number 3 pick.
2 you would have done.
So 2 I would have done, because then you get Zach Wilson, who's number 1 in my opinion. So yes, I would have done that for sure. But yeah, and that's the situation we're in. So I guess I'd say in Kellen Mond, keep the picks. Go from there.
It's so funny. We do get drunk on draft value right around this time. It's almost like we talk about Mac Jones as like at 3, he'll be a bust. It's like you can't take him at 3. Well, but if the Patriots got him at 15 or if he's like 20, you're like, he's a great playoff quarterback.
That's
it's
perfect.
Like, no, you're talking about the same dude here. He's either a good quarterback for your team or not.
And what if the Patriots trade up to like number 5 and get him? Are we going to now is it going to
now he's not good
our
anymore.
Thought of Mac Jones?
He'll be bad on your team.
He was good at 15, but now on your team at 5, there's too much bullshit talk with the draft. Listen, and it's what bothers me. Listen, I mean, we're borderline. Justin Fields was getting disrespected to where you had people going like, this is a little crazy, to now it's truly switched over to Mac Jones to where you go, it's getting a little crazy here. Like, I mean, it's disrespectful the way both guys have been talked about a little bit. And what I don't understand is the people who were defending Justin Fields going, you don't say this about these players, they're going and doing that to Mac Jones. And I want to go, do you realize you're being a hypocrite a little bit? I don't understand that. Here's the other thing that just drives me crazy about the conversation too. Like, I know very few people in the NFL community who don't think Mac Jones is better than Tua. Right? Like almost everybody I know, except for maybe 1 or 2 guys that I've talked to in NFL circles, who all are like, oh, Mac Jones is much better than Tua. I mean, the Alabama receivers are trying to tell you that. But the public and media just do not want to buy into it. They don't. No matter how much people who really know talk about it, or the rumors they hear from coaches and organizations of what Mac Jones is and all that, it's just, that's what I don't understand.
People ask why he was sitting behind him then. He should have played ahead of him.
Right. Well, Tua got there first. It's going to be hard to supplant anybody at Alabama. They're not going to lose. It doesn't matter who you put in at quarterback. Jalen Hurts only lost twice, I think, when he was there, his 2 years. So I guess that bothers me about the conversation a little bit there, to where everybody is telling you that he's better than Tua, but no one wants to accept the fact that he could get drafted right in the range of Tua. I don't understand that.
Another one on Kellen Mond, JF Jewell, says Mond only completed 14 of 57 passes last year, throwing outside the hash marks, over 10 yards in the air. Yeah. Is that a mechanics issue, scheme, bad receiver, something else you saw?
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a scheme. It's definitely not a mechanics or anything like that. I mean, his arm it's an elite. I mean, we can ask Dad. I mean, if you're just going to ask me about the natural throwers of the draft, the most natural throwers of the draft, that's Wilson, Lawrence, Mac Jones, and Kellen Mond. They're the most they could pick up any object, and I know they're going to throw it at a high level. Rocks, skipping it across the water, baseball, Nerf ball, whatever. They can throw it. No, their offense, more times than not, college football doesn't throw outside the numbers a ton, whether it's go routes or something like that. You don't see out routes and comebacks and all that. Their offense, more or not, was down the field. I mean, down the middle of the field. And listen, I have no questions about his ability to throw outside the numbers. Just from the throws I've seen, and a lot of those throws outside the number were corner routes where you got to put it in a safe spot, stuff like that. They didn't have a receiver that you go, hey, it's one-on-one outside. Throw to him. Yeah. Like some of the other teams did. I mean, just about all the other quarterbacks had that option where like, oh, it's one-on-one. I'm going to him no matter what. Slant route, go route, out route, whatever. I'm throwing to him. So there's that aspect. But, too, just to answer the question a little bit about, for his mechanics are really good other than being a hair stiff. But he makes so many big-time power throws down the middle. That's the thing I would tell you. Whether it's, off the back foot or in perfect positions, post, deep in cuts, crossing routes, he puts them on the money, and he can really drive it with, like, some serious pace. So, That's why I like Kellen Mond, and I'm not worried about all that. No.
You're very high on Kellen Mond, high on all those quarterbacks that you put in your top 6.
I like them all. I do. It's just a tough eval, those last 2 for me.
Was a question on a sleeper guy who you may have touched on a little bit when you did your initial rankings pod. This is from Dom 1011. Just watch some film on Davis Mills. See, you're motivating everyone out there to watch film.
Right.
You've got all the homies watching film.
Good.
I think he has some of the best accuracy in this draft. He could be a sleeper on day 3. Do you agree?
I agree. He might be a sleeper. He might be somebody that goes even day 2, late. And he's. First off, our man there, 1011, is. I mean, he's right. He says a lot of things. I think the thing I would say about Davis Mills is, he's polished.
Stanford quarterback.
Excuse me, number 15. He's polished and NFL ready. Right, that's the thing I'd tell you. He can execute an NFL offense. That's what he's been doing. To our questioner's point, he is very accurate. He's got good timing and feel. Really knows how to play the position. Right, along with some good size and a pretty good athlete. Right, so he's got a lot of the things you need to be successful. But the arm is average. As far as NFL arms are concerned, and he's a good athlete, not a great athlete that way. So, that's kind of where I see him. I don't think he's – who my 6 off the board are first.
Yep.
I think he's a good chance he's 7. That would be what I would say. And he teeters on, to me, a guy that maybe could be an NFL starter, but definitely would need a team and some system help around him. He's not going to just wow you with, big-time plays or physical ability.
Right.
Or, at the very worst, he's a really good backup quarterback. I really think that's where I look at Davis Mills. I don't know if he can be a legit big-time NFL starter.
So much value in a good backup quarterback.
There is,
though.
right.
Every year we see it. The teams that starting quarterback goes down, it's like, well, there goes your playoffs.
Yeah.
There goes your playoffs.
I know.
If you had one guy who
Except
could just...
the Saints, who 2 years in a row said, no, it didn't matter. We're still just as good. Right.
A question about the Lions.
Yeah.
My Detroit Lions getting a question here.
Good one.
Melcor23.
Let's see it.
Can you tell my fellow Lions fans why, if you love a quarterback in this special group, you got to take them and not wait and hope there's a guy there in a year or 2? So he thinks, apparently, that if you're the Lions here at 7, I know you got Jared Goff, but I guess he's looking into the future and saying there's not going to be another draft with this many great quarterbacks.
Who says that's where we got to get stop with these proclamations that's, and I'm not trying to be be mean to our questions
because everyone talked about Tua, tank for Tua,
right.
Tank for Trevor.
It's
who are we
always
tanking
that.
for? Who are we tanking for next year? We don't know yet.
Well, I know, but you're right, and that's where this whole thing gets messed up, and the narratives. It's all that. Like I said, I see guys that are hosting TV shows. They're making draft analysis. I don't know. I'd do this, and I would do this. Really? Did you watch film on them? No, but okay. Now you're going to say it and influence all these people who are going to be like, well, this guy said that. No, but he doesn't know shit, people. I don't know what else to tell you. Sorry. He's just a fan that gets paid a lot of money to talk into a mic. So there's too much of that goes on in this. I'm not, I was told, it's a beautiful draft class. Blake Bortles, Teddy Bridgewater, and Johnny Manziel. It's beautiful. They're going to go 1, 2, 3 off the board. That's what everybody was saying. It's beautiful. It's a special class. Special what? Special piece of shit class. Get out of here with that. We don't know yet. And quarterbacks are coming out on a yearly basis right now. We see a few special ones every year.
Zach Wilson, we were not talking about him. Mac Jones, I think, was at 20s.
I'm sure. So we see. So you're saying you're making my point for me.
I'm making your point. Yeah.
We're seeing talented guys.
Quarterbacks shoot up every year.
Listen, if you're sold on Justin Fields at 7 and you really think he's the guy in the franchise, then go for it. Of course. But don't go with it just because I'm not sure when we're going to be in this position again. I don't know if we're going to ever have a class like this ever again. The class will probably be close to this next year. It's the most popular sport in our country. Everybody wants to play quarterback. Everybody. So that's where I would just say let's be careful too. And, the other thing just with the Lions, which is interesting, the Jared Goff thing, which in a lot of ways is I don't know, it has an Osweiler feel, right? We're getting rid of you, so, and they're taking on the money to take the picks and all of that too. But man, they're tied to Jared Goff in a way too, to a degree, as far as contract wise, and a lot of money.
At least another year, right?
At least another year. And hold on, I'm going to pull it up right now because I really think legitimately it's closer to 2 years. Like next year is a giant hit.
Yeah.
And then the year after that's like, whoa.
Still a big one.
That's still a big one. Here we go. I got it. I'm sorry.
And why wouldn't they believe in Jared? I mean, he's a former #1 pick. It wasn't that long ago that we thought maybe he could be the guy. And no, he's not going to be ever a top 5 quarterback.
No, that's exactly right.
But you don't need a top 5 quarterback.
No.
Well, maybe the Lions need that.
Well, I mean, no, but you're making your. I mean, we saw a team go to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we saw
Yeah.
we saw the 49ers go to
yeah.
the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
You don't need the top 5 guy. You're right, and that's where I would just be a little wary of a team that, man, they need a lot of things. Dead money if they got rid of them after this season. $40 million dead money.
Okay.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's your whole offensive line. I mean, it's all of them. So, man, and then even in 2022, the dead money is $30.5 million. So I don't know. That to me doesn't quite make sense.
They want him. They want to play him. They want him to do well.
I would think so.
And if you draft a quarterback, like to your point,
right,
you want to start playing him right away. There's no sitting a guy for 2 years under Jared Goff and then year 3 hoping he's something. And then if he is, then you got to think about paying him a ton of money.
I mean, that to me, the Lions are very intriguing. I think a lot of teams or a lot of people think, I think it's because of the Chris Spielman, the Ohio State connection. They think he's going to like Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by it. I don't know what to say there. I guess I'm saying, though, I'd be surprised if they went quarterback at 7. You can always – hey, listen, we don't know who's going to be available in free agency to our Detroit fan. You don't know how the draft's going to shake out next year. I mean, I don't expect the Lions to be in the playoffs in 2021.
You're going to have draft picks that you could trade for someone else.
Exactly right. So you could do like the 49ers did. Oh, we need a quarterback. We're going to make a move.
Yeah.
All right, we're going up. They can do that if they got it next year.
And you can get a Kyle Pitts.
Don't just draft
Penny
one
Sewell.
just to draft one.
A lot of good players they can get at 7
right.
that aren't a quarterback.
Right.
All right. Speaking of a lot of good people that you can be associated with.
Are you sure?
One is your father.
I've
heard rumors.
Overrated those guys.
Whoa, and we get to see him today. Big Philip. Hello.
I'm in my office that I just moved into, so it's a train wreck, but I know one thing. I'm not going to have a bunch of figurines on my desk.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Toys.
Look at him. Shots fired. I see a Phil Simms starting lineup figure right over your left shoulder.
Hey, listen, my wife, your mother, somebody put it there. When this thing is done, it's going to look great, and there will be zero sports things on this behind me. I hate those things.
I like your iron, though. There's a nice iron you got.
Yeah, that just went up there because we're cleaning one room out, trying to get rid of everything, and you know which room I'm in, right?
You're in the so everybody out there, just to look into the Sims household here. He's in the room right next to his bedroom, a little office, and Dad and Mom are redoing the kitchen right now.
Oh, okay.
So things have been moved around in the house a little bit.
That's always real fun because those are projects that you think are going to last like a month and they take a year and a half.
Oh, they'll be a little while, yeah.
It's breakfast in the living room, TV room, living room, hangout room, living room, and there's dust everywhere. And it's great. I'm in a great mood.
All right. Well, good. Because I don't know if you're listening to your son there. We're already talking quarterbacks. This whole year off season has been the off season of the quarterbacks, right? Whether it's be these really intriguing draft prospects or the quarterbacks that have been traded around.
Trades, right?
Yeah. And so, Phil, maybe let's start there with a quarterback that was a top pick not that long ago, who has now gone to a different team. The Carolina Panthers, who have the 8th pick in the draft. We thought for a while there it might be a quarterback, but then they got their quarterback in Sam Darnold. So what are your thoughts around that?
Well, I think that I've always thought the Jets were, if they had the chance, they were going to move on, and not really blaming it all on Sam Darnold, just for the fan base, everybody, the building, to refresh and let's start over. And if you're going to start over, this was the year to do it because you can get a quarterback that you can start over with. Sam Darnold going down there, hey, look, that'll light a fire under him. Hopefully they'll build an offense that fits him. I think they will. And it's a good move for everybody. It really is. So, and everybody goes, well, is Sam Darnold, they're going to draft Zach Wilson. Yes, I will say this. I think Zach Wilson's a better talent and has a bigger upside as far as being a big-time NFL quarterback than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, you like the Sam Darnold, right, in that Joe Burrow, Joe Brady offense, right? I mean, that seems to make sense and fit there, right?
Yes, it does. You know, Sam Darnold is, to me, more instinctive, a little more mobile than Teddy Bridgewater was, and just a better thrower of the ball. Can be a little more, play more spontaneous football, I guess you want to say, or whatever. I just think he's different that way. He's not super careful. You know, when you're super careful, yeah, he never turns the ball over. Yeah, but you never score either.
Right.
So that's always a big thing. And the other thing that jumps up, just talking about this situation, I hear people on TV, and, you know, Christopher and Ahmed, you know this too. I got somebody on right now. They were showing something about a quarterback, and I go, that is really stupid, but means nothing. Just, oh, it's great TV. Okay. But Zach Wilson.
Your son has called someone out for being dumb. You just did it too. We're going to have to name names at some point, but maybe not on this podcast. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you know, I got enough enemies out there, so I don't need to get any more. But Zach Wilson didn't come out of nowhere. I heard somebody admit, because they were trying to talk about this on TV yesterday. I would name his name, but I can't remember.
Oh, it was Colin Cowherd, I think. I think it was Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, but I think it was. Yeah. Yes. Called two, you know, personnel people. Zach Wilson came out of nowhere, and they both said, no, he didn't. He's been on the radar ever since his freshman year. And, oh, really? Oh, okay. So these things, nobody ever comes out of anywhere in the NFL.
Right.
You know, maybe if you played Division III small football, they catch you in the last year or so. But they're looking at everybody, especially quarterbacks, and so many things that are said about all this. The last thing I'll say before we let you ask a question.
Yeah.
Christopher, I told you this last night for just a second. I've never done this. I've watched every throw of most of these quarterbacks, which I never do. Not some of their throws, every throw.
I think twice. I mean, literally, I think he's done it twice. Yeah.
Just because so many things. I said, let me go check that again. And I never look their one loss record. I don't care. I really don't. I couldn't tell you any stats on any of them.
Right.
I don't care. I'm judging what I see. And, you know, because another guy came on TV yesterday, quarterback expert. Well, I look at their QBR and this other stat. Well, that's stupid. What if he plays on a bad team with no receivers and the scheme stinks? And we're going to judge him on that.
Right.
And so, you know, it's just crazy. Everybody now can judge quarterbacks and knows. And everybody can't believe so-and-so's falling. Who said I know you say these things, Christopher. Who said they're falling?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the NFL had them.
Right.
But no, the TV people, I'm the host, and by God, I've been listening, and I know more.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't know. Let me ask you 5 questions about Trey Lance. I bet you can't answer any of them. So, all right, I feel better. Let's go.
No, but you're right. I kind of just was saying the same exact thing a little bit. You know, that because we were talking about Justin Fields a little, and I said the same thing. Like, it's not that he's falling, and we still don't know where he's going to go. But the important evaluators, you know, the coaches, the front office people who have really dug in here the last month, yeah, they've started to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And you start to hear now.
We're finding out.
Yeah. Exactly right. It's not like, like some great GM was like, man, I got Fields at 4. Okay, awesome. And then he just went in like 2 weeks ago and he was like, man, he's fallen.
Yeah.
He's fallen for me, guys. I mean, it's not.
You know what it's like? It's like all those election shows that we watch now, right around election day, where we go, oh, this candidate's lead is falling. They're dropping. It's getting closer now. It's like, no, all the votes are in. We're just counting them.
Right.
It's like nothing's falling or taking off.
Well, let me ask Dad this real quick, because you hit on Carolina. And I'm just curious, because to me, I feel like this is a little crazy, but I keep seeing this. Like, people still think there's a chance the Carolina Panthers might draft a quarterback at pick number 8. Like, do you think that's logical at this point?
Well, I don't think it's logical, because I think when I look at what they do and who Matt Rule is, you know, and he's a big Bill Parcells disciple and believes in football that way. I watched him down, of course, at Baylor. Very close, because we worked with the quarterback down in Baylor, Charlie Brewer, who's now at Utah. By the way, went 15 of 15 in the spring game, but let's move on from there. he believes in that old theory, big, powerful, beat people physically, and then we'll scheme up other things to help us win games.
Right.
And, I kind of still believe in that too, myself. The big, powerful teams can stand the test of time and match up against everybody.
Right.
So I would think that's what he's doing. I would be surprised if they take a quarterback, unless it's somebody they fall where they were really maybe thinking about big time. And who's going to fall? If I had to guess, you're either talking about Justin Fields or Trey Lance, maybe falling to the spot.
Right. Yeah. It's one that I keep seeing that it doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. Why did you trade away picks to get Sam Darnold? I mean, you could have just traded up a few picks and maybe one other pick that you left, didn't trade to the Jets.
Or if a quarterback falls you at 8 and you take him, you could have just done that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's where I see it. I just was curious to get your take. So
here's the other thing, Christopher, and Ahmed, the real quick thing is, I don't think they're looking to, maybe there was somebody they would have liked to have, but I think they're looking to try to, we want to win now.
Right.
I mean, the owner, all out there, let's go. And
agreed.
So getting a veteran quarterback with some good skills that Sam Darnold has kind of makes sense for them.
So here's the question for you, Phil. It comes from Maze Fire 56. Will Sam Darnold have more wins this year than Zach Wilson? I know you guys love giving wins to the quarterback and quarterback only. So Jets or Panthers, who has more wins this year, you think?
Well, I'm going to say the Panthers.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, the Panthers got a lot of strong units on their football team.
Right.
And I know Chris has talked about it. And like I said, I thought last year, the way they played, the way he managed games was big time already. They just didn't get caught in bad situations. The football team had a good look to it. And overall, I know their record wasn't good. They kind of fell off at the end of the year. But overall, I was really impressed with the Carolina Panthers. Just the way they looked, the way they played, and how they're coached, and the way the games were managed.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, Carolina would be one of those teams that I would put a little star next to going into the 2021 season to say, watch out for them. Mm-hmm. And Dad said it right. We know the receivers, they're special. You got the running back, McCaffrey. All right, now you got the quarterback. They got a franchise right tackle. They got a left tackle they drafted in the second round 2 years ago, and Greg Little. Defensive line, they got Brian Burns, who's their best pass rusher. The other D end is Yetur Gross-Matos from last year.
Yeah.
They got Derek Brown, pick number 7 from last year at D tackle. Hassan Reddick and Shaq Thompson now at stand-up linebacker.
But the Jets will have Zach Wilson.
Hey, I love Zach Wilson, but I got to say, I think Dad's right. I mean, Carolina did a lot of impressive things and had some really, really tough losses.
Yeah.
They were there toe-to-toe with the Bucs in the first time they played them. They should have beat the Kansas City Chiefs and kind of blew that game, if you remember. So I think they are on the up and up.
They could be a sneaky playoff team.
I think so. Right? I do. I wouldn't be shocked.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All
right, go ahead. Ask me the next one.
It's an easy question to answer. The Jets are for me, just because not as many holes and not as many question marks when you look at the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
All right, so another quarterback who, the shine may be a little bit off Sam Darnold, although the Panthers don't think so, perhaps. The shine may be a little bit off Jimmy Garoppolo. A couple of injuries, was in the Super Bowl not too long ago. There's a discussion of, you've traded up for 3. Clearly, Phil, they've got their eye on a quarterback. Maybe it's Mac Jones.
Right.
There's been some talk of, all right, is this the perfect opportunity to trade away Jimmy Garoppolo? You don't want any, weirdness in that quarterback room. You don't want Jimmy to beat this new quarterback out because you want that new quarterback to be the future. What's the value? Is it worth the 49ers keeping Jimmy G around if they do want to go quarterback at number 3?
That's a really good question. I have to actually think about it. But if you're drafting a quarterback at 3, you need to play him.
Yeah.
And I'd probably play him right away.
Right.
Just take it the first time you practice and make it about him, and let's get him going and ready to go right away. That's what I would think. And having Jimmy Garoppolo around just clouds that message to everybody. And, and then it just opens you up for more second guessing.
Yeah.
And if they do take Mac Jones, they're going to get second guessed relentlessly every single week after how they play. Did they win or lose? What did the quarterback do? All this kind of stuff. So to me, the big thing is, and Christopher, I know he follows the 49ers close, so do I, everybody does. But if they do draft a quarterback at number 3, which they will, who's going to be the backup? So you got to go out there and find a capable backup. Why? It's got to be somebody pretty good, because, you think you got a good football team, So as I always say, make sure you buy some insurance.
Yeah, right. Like we just actually hit on that too. Like the Saints did the last 2 years. I'm not sure if Josh Rosen or what's his name, the backup from the Eagles that played in Week 17 last. Sudfeld. They signed him. I don't know if he's the answer for backup quarterback. I think Dad's exactly right. First off, like Mac Jones, if it's him, he's ready now. You're playing him. But I would say the same thing off of what Dad said right there. To go, and maybe I've adjusted my thought here a little too, just go, even if it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields, right, where there's some polish missing in their pass game.
Yeah.
The hell with it. Go all in on it. Go full Shanahan RG3 mode, right? He had no problem figuring out an offense then. He'll figure out ways to, like what Dad's saying, where they'll trick it up in the run game and make you really defend that to give some easy pass looks to let the quarterback grow. So I'm with Dad there. Yeah, Jimmy G confuses the situation, causes more criticism, gives the fans more, what if you did that, and all that kind of crap, to where if you draft a quarterback at 3, which they're going to, you got to get rid of Jimmy G.
I see that argument, but part of me, Phil, is like, you know Jimmy Garoppolo is a capable quarterback. You might not want him to be your starting quarterback, and is he going to be that disgruntled when you're paying him, $20-something million? Yeah, maybe that's a good enough consolation prize for him. He's not a bad backup to have if you can convince him that that's his role, Phil. Do you agree with that?
Okay, that was a really good question there, Ahmed. But as you can hear, I don't think I'm going to back off my stance at all.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think he will be a good backup. Every broadcast, my God, come on, TV. We know what TV is. Well, here's the starting quarterback. There's Jimmy Garoppolo on the sideline.
Yeah.
Boy, really played well, took him to the Super Bowl. Should they put him in now? He threw an incompletion.
Yeah.
So come on. It's just, you do things like that. I will say this, if they could fall that way, if they do, then I won't feel sorry for anybody if they lose games and get a big controversy going on.
Yeah, that's right. They're playing with fire.
Phil, I know you've got a big draft quarterback special coming up. CBS, right?
Yeah, CBS.
I really can't wait to do it, Ahmed. I can't wait. I have do's and don'ts for every quarterback in the draft. They all have whatever, some weaknesses, this and that. I'm going to get a few things off my chest. Like, years ago, I used to do this and talk about the draft and talk about arm strength, and all the other experts. Arm strength is overrated. Oh, is it really? How about it now? That's all they talk about. Great arm strength and everything like that. So that's one. And it just drives me crazy. What else did I teach? Oh, well, you can't teach accuracy. My aching butt, you can't. Christopher, you said this right. If you're a natural thrower of the ball, you can be extremely accurate with the football. Of course, decision-making, talent scheme is a big deal. So, perfect example, Josh Allen. So what do I hear the other day from a numbers person? What he did last year is an outlier. He's not accurate. That was just an outlier. Oh, come on. Once a hater, always a hater. So, that'd be the other thing. My last little one is, Mac Jones only started 1 year. Well, he played the year before, too, when Tua got hurt and did really well.
Right.
But the other thing is, he practiced for 4 years down in Alabama against NFL defensive backs, linebackers, and defensive linemen, running the scout team and maybe getting some other team reps. That's for sure. And I don't know what I was going to say about that. So that gives him great experience.
Yeah.
And Christopher, I told you this. I think after he'd been down there a year, I watched their spring game. I watched the spring games. I like watching them. And I said, man, who's this big guy throwing the ball? And it was Mac Jones. He was the MVP of the game with the other two quarterbacks there. He threw the ball great. He threw it just like he did with how we saw him this year. Now, do I have negatives on him? Yes, and I'll talk about those probably in the show. But the other thing is, down the field and really short, as accurate as anybody you're going to see. And when you say, accurate short, guys catch the ball and never break stride on all the short passes, which is really, to me, that's the NFL. Most of the throws are under 10 yards, and you got to be a machine throwing those footballs, and he is.
And he's a machine plus 20 yards down the field, too. He's a machine.
Well,
it's not it's not powerful and, look at that Brett Favre laser and things like that. But it's always the right trajectory, the right throw. And if he's got to put a little elbow grease on it, he can put a little steam on it. Yeah, it's not the most powerful arm, but his aggressive downfield throwing, I think that was one of the things that jumped out to me and Dad first off. That's why you've heard me talk about the offense was different this year with Mac Jones as compared to Tua because of his ability to aggressively throw the ball accurately down the field. I think that jumped out to both of us too, right?
This is the hard thing.
I don't look at numbers. I said I don't look at numbers. Sorry, because I'm kind of called for time. But I don't look at numbers. But then I found out him and let's see, who was the other one? Trevor Lawrence threw the most screens by all college players or all the guys being drafted this year.
Right.
And Trevor Lawrence, he missed a couple games. So they both were great screen teams. But to Christopher's point, Mac Jones was number one throwing it down the field. Now, I know he had great receivers, and they were great. The scheme was awesome and all that. But did Tua have great receivers?
Right.
Did he? Oh, I think so, but I never heard this. So, everybody keeps talking about, there's ways to look at it and all that. And I understand the situation. People take sides, and I know the reasons why, and that's okay. But, I'm going to tell the truth of what I saw. And then I'm just saying all these good things about Mac Jones. But trust me, there's a good segment of it. I'm going to go, hey, man, I wish he could do this, and I wish he could do that.
Hey.
Because those things scare me.
Yeah, I got you. All right, one last thing because he's got to go.
Okay.
And be quick. I know you got to go. All right. I love Kellen Mond. You know that. I think you like Kellen Mond. Just in your assessment of all the big guys we talk about, like where does he fit in for you? I don't think I've ever really asked you that or talked to you about this.
I got him 6.
Yeah.
I got him 6. All the things you said. I wish he was a little more, just played with feel a little more. Hey, when 1, 2, and 3 are not open, run.
Right.
And, he's a good runner, good athlete. But, everybody, I don't know what. Nobody talks about him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're wrong. You know what? I don't think I am. He stripes the ball as good as any quarterback coming out in the draft. You hear that?
Yeah.
He throws the ball physically as well as anybody in this draft, maybe except Zach Wilson because of Zach Wilson's creativity.
Right.
But, man, can he spin it? He can drive it. And Ahmed, when you look at Texas A&M, that receiving core, okay, they weren't covered. They were blanketed constantly by the SEC. And he drove footballs into the tightest spots. He makes great downfield throws. He's got a rocket for an arm. And then finally, as I watched all this stuff, late in the year, he started moving around more.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh my God, why didn't you do this? But I kind of get the feeling just reading that Jimbo Fisher is not big into that. Stand in there, do the reads, run the offense this way. And I'm not going to say he was great at finding 1, 2, and 3. He was just good. He could have been a little quicker sometimes in his final assessment of plays. But the throwing, then, I finally got to watch his pro day workout. And I like pro day workouts, Ahmed. I hate to say it. The NBA has a shoot around with one guy in the court. And, they do that. And they everybody has these things. I like them because that's the time you go out and really show your raw talent. Yeah. And, man, I would go out there, which I had many of them. And I went out there and I let it go. I just threw everything. Whatever the play was, man, if it's a curl route, I'm going to kill him.
Right.
I just threw it as hard as I could throw it. And the coaches were all going back then, away, throw it. And of course, I had Bill Walsh going, why are you throwing it so hard?
Yeah.
Throw it softer. Drop back. And I'm like, so what did Bill Walsh know? Well, apparently he knew a lot.
He knew a lot. That's right.
But, hey, that show on Monday night, like I said, I'm really excited about it. I'm doing it with Steve Berline and Adam Shine. Steve Berline we talked a little bit. He follows the quarterback thing. He's got a great feel for it. And he's going to be, what's the word for it? Unfiltered.
Okay, good.
There's no question. He said some things to me the other night, and I went, well, this is going to be interesting.
Is it live or is it recorded? Can they edit it?
Well, we're going to record it. Yeah, we can't do it live. No, because if we do it live, nobody will watch us because so. But we're going to record it, and I told Christopher, you got to pub it a little on some of your things. He goes, I don't know if NBC's going to let me pub something on CBS.
Yeah, this part will be taken out.
That's all right. We're going to do it. We're pubbing it right now. And we're going to pub. I'm going to say something when you get off, and they're not going to be able to stop me.
But it's been really fun. And then writing notes. This is my last thing because Nicole's over here, Christopher. She's about ready to slap me. Is writing lists of the goods and bads and everything like that. And then I just send the notes out to everybody that's involved in the show. And they laugh. They go, "Oh, man, this is great. I didn't know this." And I said, "Well, yeah, of course you didn't. How would you know it?" Like, and teach this and do all that. So that's been that part has been really fun. So hopefully we can back it up the right way on TV.
Cool. I know you will. He's been working hard at it.
All
You the man, Dad. Thanks for
slapped.
zooming in too.
Yeah, thank you.
What's that?
Wait, thanks for zooming in. That was big Zoom call today.
Oh man, my face is raw as can be, and I'm sweating, and well, whatever. But I did the best I could. I wore my glasses just to cover some of the face. So.
All right, you look good. Don't worry.
Thanks, Phil.
You guys have a great day. Ahmed, always good to see you.
You too, my friend.
See you, Dad.
Just do your best. I know it's impossible to do your best.
Your dad's a sweater too. I like that.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Oh yeah, he's just
there.
us. He's greasy forehead like me too. That's where I get it from.
I love what he said, and you've said it too, about Kellen Mond and competition. Like, we're gonna knock Mac Jones, or you're at Alabama, you had all this help around you. How is there not another side of that coin?
I know.
How is that not like your teammates were not as good as everyone else?
There's
and you
different narratives for different guys that it's okay to use it for this guy, but not okay for that guy, and it's the greatest psychology study I think in America right now.
Yeah.
Is draft and quarterback talk.
I agree.
Draft and quarterback talk will really let you in to know people's minds and what is your logic behind that thought sometimes? So interesting.
And I think I made your dad mad about the Jimmy G as a backup, question. I think he was getting mad at me.
Well, I think he was like, "Hey, I made my point. How dare you ask me again to do that?" So, but anybody, seriously, Big Dad Phil Simms quarterback show. Yeah. Monday night, CBS Sports Network. I'll give him some pub there.
He has gone through the throws. He's done the work.
I thought he was lying to me. Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Because there was he told me once, he was like, oh, I watched all the quarterbacks, all their throws. And then 5 days later, he called me and he was like, I'm watching blah, blah. And I want to be like, didn't you just tell me you watched all these throws? He's like, I'm going to do this show now. So I'm going back and watching again, and he really got obsessed with it. He loves it. He's been picking plays out, all of that. So it'll be cool to watch.
Pete's going to take that part out of the podcast. Unfortunately, we can't promote other shows, so that's gone. But now it is time for the final position group. Our prospect rundown, presented by Applebee's, final edition, the Chris Simms 2021 Draft Tight End Rankings. So you got 5 of them here, right?
Yeah.
And then 1 honorable mention. So before we get into the rankings, so what are you looking for in a tight end? Tight end's a weird position, right? Because it seems like there are so few teams that throw to their tight end. And maybe that's because they don't have a tight end that can make plays like George Kittle and Travis Kelce and Darren Waller and T.J. Hawkinson did last year.
Yeah.
So when you scout these tight ends, are you looking for pass catchers? Are you looking for blockers predominantly? What are you looking for?
Somebody can do a little bit of both. That's the beauty of the tight end position, is you hope you can get that guy there that can be like that mismatch nightmare that we've talked about with so many of the great tight ends or teams that have 2 tight end sets, right? To do that, because it's that bind of, wait, he split out. Okay, wait, what are we going to do coverage-wise? And then it's the next play. It's like, wait, he's next to the tackle with his hand in the ground. Whoa, he's big. We have to have a different thought here. He blocks pretty good. That's the beauty of the tight end position. It really puts defenses in a bind as far as the personnel they want to play and maybe some of the coverage packages they want to call behind that. So that's the thing. I guess we're looking for somebody that, of course, has special pass game talents.
Yeah.
And, I think that wins out on everything right now. And then along with that, you want to just go, okay, wait, he's special in the pass game? Okay, can he block? Doesn't have to be like Gronk and the best blocking tight end in the history of football, but can he block to where when we do put him at the end of the line of scrimmage, that team's got to respect it. Right. And we are a true running threat. And it's not just a guy we're putting there that's like a tight end by position, but we have to come up with some scheme to protect him because he can't really block the defensive end. We got to have somebody else there to double him, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for those type of guys. So I guess that's what I'm trying to look for, a mixture of both. And some swing more heavy on the pass side, some swing more heavy on the run side and have a little pass value. You just got to find out the ones you like and who you think has the best chance to be talented.
I think that's why people like George Kittle so much, because he's a good blocker, and it seems like he wants to be a good blocker.
Definitely.
But a guy like Darren Waller, I don't think he's really a blocking tight end.
He's like he's a get it done. This is what coach said I had to do. Coach told me not to let this guy make the tackle.
Right.
So I'll not let him make the tackle. But yeah, he's going to miss some blocks. He's not going to physically dominate people that way. You know, he's what I would call a get or done blocker, where it's like he doesn't blow you out of the way, but he shielded you off to where you didn't make the tackle, right?
So what's the deal with these rookie tight ends? So George Kittle, his rookie year, had 515 yards receiving, which actually was pretty good for a rookie.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce had 0, just played 1 game, had a knee injury. Darren Waller, he was cut by the Ravens. TJ Hawkinson, who had a pretty good year last year, struggled the
that
year
first
before.
year, right.
So it seems to take these tight ends a little bit to become part of the offense.
It's a big position from all aspects. You know, one, way more tight end's got a lot on him mentally. I mean, he really does. He's up there with the center and the quarterback as far as probably having to know the most stuff on the offense. Because, oh, wait, you know, they're keeping me in the block and pass protect.
Got to know all the
I got to know
schemes,
they're talking. Yeah, what are they talking about? What is the tackle next to me telling me? What? Huh? What is that word? Oh, wait, now it's a running play. Oh, wait, we're going to trolley to the Mike back. He's got to learn all that aspect, right? So he's got to do that. Whoa, the pass game is way more diverse and has more rules than what I did in college. In college, they just told me to run down the middle of the split safeties.
Right.
And if it was one safety, just hook up and turn around. That's about all I had to do. You know, I mean, so the game is just, I think, way more complex for them, let alone, you know, they're also blocking a whole different breed of person when it does come to the run game and the pass game and everything like that, and the way they're covered and all of that. So I think it is a position that, you know, there's an adjustment period physically and mentally when you get to the NFL.
Yeah, Cole Kmet last year, who was your number 1.
Right.
Rookie.
He had a slow
tight
start,
end.
right?
He was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
He ended with just 243 receiving yards. Asiasi was a third-rounder. We didn't really do a rankings last year.
Yeah.
But you had those as your first 2.
Yeah, they were the first 2.
And those were the first 2 off the board, second round, third round.
Right.
It just really is not a position that a lot of teams are valuing that high.
It's crazy. It just doesn't seem like there's been a ton of talent at the position the last few years. I've kind of missed out on it that way. I don't know if, you know, these last few classes decide to play power forward in the NBA or what, but it just has not been a real deep class the last few years. And, you know, to add it to that too.
Yeah.
With like the question you asked about the tight ends and the adjustment period too. You know, I think the Bears and Cole Kmet, there's another side to that I probably should have said. The coaches having to adjust to think about, hey, let's get the tight end involved. Like, that's not always a normal thing too. When you don't have a talented tight end, you don't really think about calling plays or designing anything. And then you get a guy like a Cole Kmet, and now, okay, we've seen him practice, seen a few games. Oh, wait, he does have something to him. Wait, hey, let's go in there and design a few plays for him and start to figure out how we can use him a little bit better.
You're thinking about feeding Montgomery, and you're thinking about feeding Allen Robinson.
Exactly.
And even though I think he was their first pick, right? Because I don't think they had a first-round pick.
Yeah, you're right. They did not.
Even with that, it was just like he's not front and center in your mind.
There's an adjustment period, I think, for the offensive side of the ball, too, how to work that out and figure out how to use them.
Pop quiz.
Yeah.
The only rookie tight end ever to go over 1,000 receiving yards. I feel like we've done this before.
I really don't. Hold
it's
on
a long
second.
time ago.
It's a long time ago?
Not long ago, but we're talking the 1960s.
Oh, well, that's a long time ago.
But a name you've heard.
That's a long time
That is,
ago.
you're right. That is a long time
Well,
ago.
I mean, okay, 60s is not going to be Johnny Mackey because he's 50s. So I'm going to say it's Mike Ditka.
Well, you got it.
Yeah.
Mike Ditka, 1961.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, tight end, 1,000 yards.
Only rookie tight end ever to go over 1,000 yards. And that was even when they weren't even throwing the ball that much.
Yeah, no, that's
what's
crazy about it. Exactly right. I know, that really is.
All right, so let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do
you
it.
Ready?
Yeah.
The tight end rankings for Chris Sims 2021 will start at number 5. Do you want me to say the names, or do you want to say the names?
I like when you say it. I like your
Number
announcer
5.
voice.
Briley Moore out of Kansas State.
Listen, this is one of those. I'm just cracking my way down the list, right, with these tight ends and constantly, and I'm starting to go, okay, we're getting into like kind of averageville here, right? And I got to Briley Moore, and I just went, whoa, this guy's got something to him. You know, first off, we talked about, can he be effective in both areas, run game and pass game? Yes and yes. There's no doubt about it. really, I thought out of the tight ends I watched, I thought his blocking was special. Not only just like, I take special in the one-on-one blocking, being able to block DNs or linebackers at the end of the line of scrimmage, your ability to work with your teammate, next to you, your tackle. Hey, we're going to double team this guy, then I need you to go up and get the linebacker, right? The tight end. Yeah. He does all of that stuff really, really good. And really, as far as just the blocking was concerned, I thought that it was up there with really who I would say is the top blocker who just misses the top 5 for me in this is Hunter Long, the Boston College tight end, right? Yeah. I'll give him a little shout out. He's good. He's got potential. There's no doubt about that. I didn't love everything he brought in the pass game. I think he'd do more than that. But I thought that these two guys were the best, like, pure end-of-the-line tight end blockers, right? Where they could block big people, they could block smaller, fast people, do all that stuff too. But even though this kid has a little bit of the traditional tight end look, and I think he's about 6'4", 245, 250, all of that, man, the thing that jumped out to me more than anything was just, the way he plucks the ball out of the air, but then, with the ball in his hand, he was special. He was a good route runner, got good feet, hips to disconnect the upper body, the lower body to throw DBs off and do that, and then had something to him after the catch. I mean, he was a real legit yards after catch tight end. Reminded me of Mark Andrews. Had a similar body type, right? That's the way he runs and plays. That's really, I thought, like what he was. I said, I think he's got the ability to be a traditional Y because he's such a good physical blocker. Always got his feet underneath him, everything of that. But because the way he moves and runs route, I think you can flank him out a little bit. You could put him in the slot, extend him from the line of scrimmage a little bit. Great natural hands. Like I said, rips it out of the air. I thought he and Pitts had the two best hands out of all the tight ends I watched. Wow. And I'm big again. Tight ends, you got to have great hands. You got to. Think about your life is over the middle. It's a lot of catch the ball, boom. Oh, catch the ball, boom, bah.
There's not going to be a whole lot of basket
exactly.
or into the body.
You can't be basket catching balls and do it. You got to go and tack it, rip it with your hands and think, I'm probably going to get hit here hard. And it's going to knock the wind out of me. Yeah. And, that I thought was really, really good. But and phenomenal blocker.
Yeah, and when you're 6'4", 240, that helps too. When
you're is that what he weighed in at his pro day, 240,
around there? I think that's maybe.
Right.
That's what Pete threw in the rundown. So that is now official. If Pete puts it in the rundown, that's official.
Yep.
So I like these kind of players because he was a no-star recruit, 0-star recruit in high school. Got offers from Northern Iowa, Colgate, like Holy Cross, Missouri State. And so I like those guys. Although if you're 6'4" and like 240 or 250, that should give you 1-star automatic.
I would think so. And then you can move the way he does.
Yeah.
And, listen, at Kansas State, the way they're playing football right now, right, they're not Big 12. They play like they actually tackle and try to block people. Like, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
So he played real tight end. It wasn't like Big 12 tight end and I really play receiver, but I'm in a tight end's body. So you really got to see that. And you get to see everything you need to see as far as an NFL tight end is concerned. He was a surprise to me. And like I said, he just edged out Hunter Long, who I liked in a lot of ways. But I think the way this guy moves in the pass game, the way he runs routes, all that type of stuff, I found to be rather impressive.
Did we show, Kristen, his measurables? Here it is. Oh, here's the spider.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube, bench press way up there, broad jump way up there, vertical jump. So he's big. He's got some athletic
That's
ability.
Good to see. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see. Well, with
short arms, though.
Again, I'm not always into, like, these don't always mean something, but they can tell you stuff, right? And when I do look at, like...
How is his weight that low?
Yeah, he must... Well, tight ends, for the most part, I think are going to be the majority
Offensive
around 245 above or something like that.
Okay.
Unless is it compared to just other tight ends, right? 240, I was surprised to hear that he was 240. That seemed a little low to me.
He might be, yeah.
But, the thing that, people will like, the vertical jump, the broad jump, those type of things, there is something there to be said about how you get out of the blocks, right? Out of your hand on the ground. That's a translatable exercise of that. I think the other thing that does to you, too, is, like, I'm not surprised to see that because the blocking, that's a huge blocking number, too.
Yeah.
You're thinking about blocking, it's getting squatting position and then exploding those hips up, just like a vertical jump.
Yep.
So if you can be explosive jumping, you'll be explosive on contact, rolling those hips through, too, to block people.
Briley Moore from Kansas State.
Yeah.
Played at Northern Iowa his first 4 years. He is number 5 on your list, a no-star recruit. The contrast to number 4, who many consider the top tight end prospect coming out of Las Vegas area when he was in high school, Brevin Jordan out of Miami.
Yeah.
He is number 4 on your list.
Like, got some really special things about his game. I mean, really athletic looking tight end. You know, it's a little bit of a made up size. That's what I will say. I think he's a guy that's probably smaller, who's worked out really hard to be, I don't know what he weighed in his pro day, probably 245-ish, somewhere in that area, right? You know, okay, 247. Wow, it's a little bigger than I thought there.
Only 2 pounds.
But yeah, it's close. Yeah, I know, you're right. It doesn't really matter. But I think what I see from him more than anything, I think the thing that jumps out is just pure rawness, but pure physical ability, especially like with the ball in his hands again, or to stretch the field as a pass receiver at the tight end position. You know, other than, again, you know, Kyle Pitts, who's going to be the top guy. Shocker, okay? And everybody knows that. That's not like, there's no, oh, no, I let it out. Everybody that says he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Kristen, beep that out. Beep that out. Pretend he swore.
But I thought, like, his ability with the ball in his hand and his ability to stretch the field, only one that's, you know, better than him is Kyle Pitts in this class as far as that is concerned. So that's where he's special. Now, the big thing, too, is he a real tight end? You know, I don't know if he's a traditional Y. You know, and again, really, Briley Moore right after this last guy, I should have brought this up too. You know, yeah, I think they can do some traditional Y. They might be really in the perfect world more of the second tight end, the H-back tight end, whatever. The tight end that's in on more of the passing situations. Yeah, we'll run the ball, but he's also, you know, we really want him in here for the pass game. You know, I think that's the big thing here too. You know, but yes, the run blocking and all of that, it's not as crisp as you would like for, you know, a guy that, I'm not going to lie, last year when I was doing Notre Dame games in the 2019 season, I saw a lot of Miami crossover film. I kept going, man, this kid here looks like he's going to be a first-round pick. Like, he looks special, and he has some special things about his movement. But, you know, I do think route running is raw. He kind of just does it with his pure ability.
Yeah.
His blocking is less than for what he is as an athlete and everything. You know, just can fall off blocks too easy, falls on the ground, loses his balance too much, you know, stuff like that, to where he's just not dependable or consistent in those areas quite yet as compared to, you know, some of the top guys we're going to talk about here.
Per Pro Football Focus, he did have 21 broken tackles on 105 career catches, so able to get away from
He is, man. That's why I talk about the yards after catch. He's and again, this is another thing where you have to piece together what he is a little bit. And maybe I'm a little low in my ranking here. But, like, to that point, and I'm sorry to interject, but, like, he's got the ball in his hands. He makes all these great moves and these sharp cuts. But yet when he runs routes, he doesn't do it. You know, so the ability is there. What is missing to why he's not doing it? I don't know if he hasn't been coached right or if he just doesn't give a shit, whatever it is. I don't know. But that just doesn't quite match up quite yet.
The Sports Convo asks you, is Jonnu Smith a good comp for Brevin Jordan?
Oh, I think that's Jonnu Smith, Gerald Everett. Those are the 2 names I wrote down when it was all said and done. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're kind of looking at here, is that type of player. You know, I think it's like year 2, watch out, he could be something special in the NFL. You know, as that second tight end or your premier, you know, pass down tight end. But ability to catch the ball, get upfield, is pretty special. You know, the acceleration off the ball at the line of scrimmage, you know, I thought that was pretty special too. He's a little clunky as far as, like I said, the route running or even adjusting to the ball sometimes, where I'm just like, man, why do you look so much more athletic with the ball in your hand than you do when you're kind of adjusting to the ball without it in your hand quite yet? So there's some of that. But there is some elite traits about this player. It's just, you know, there's some things on there too. You could just go, hey, I'd like to know this guy. Is he willing to work? Is he going to get better at blocking? Those type of things. That's where it'll become real important to as far as where he gets drafted overall. But high-end talent, some question marks, but I would not be shocked like in 2 or 3 years, or 3 years we're going, this is one of the better pass-catching tight ends in football.
He first caught your eye against Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Your number 3 tight end played at Notre Dame. Number 3 on the Chris Sims 2021 NFL Draft Prospects Tight End Rankings is Tommy Tremble.
Tommy Tremble, that's right. I mean, yeah, I've had an inside look at Tommy Tremble. You know, that's where there's not a lot of production here for Tommy Tremble.
Correct.
They don't feature him a lot in the pass game. He did not have a lot of career catches.
But they did feature a true freshman, Michael Mayer, over him.
I know they did.
So it's not like they don't feature tight ends ever.
I get that. And listen, that's a question. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's going to be, teams are going to have to do their due diligence there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Now, I can also say, watching on like film too, he's open more than he gets the ball. I mean, and then there's a few other people to blame because of that.
Yeah.
Also, I think too, with lack of production, I do think at times, like his vast skill set and the fact that he could do so much screwed him over in the production department. Hey. Wait. All right, wait. So we want to get these guys on the field. Well, we can't put the freshman, the traditional tight end at slot receiver or fullback and move him around. So we'll let him be the traditional tight end. All right, so we'll screw over Tommy Tremble and make him the fullback and go in motion, and he has to do all the other stuff. So that can hurt the production too, to a degree. But the big thing is this, and I've seen it in person. First off, the athlete and the specimen's real. He's got twitch. He's got really good power for somebody in the mid 240s as far as like just one-on-one, mano-a-mano blocking. But his speed is real, and like Ahmed doesn't block, like tries to knock your head off. It is violent.
One thing I wrote down, loves contact.
Loves contact. This is the most violent blocker in the draft. As far as the tight ends are concerned. And that's where I think he lost some ability in, what he was going to do production-wise too.
Right.
But can block people bigger than him, block people in space, put them in motion, let them lead the tailback on a toss sweep. He's amazing at doing all of that stuff. Is he a traditional Y tight end? No. I think you're off-the-ball tight end, you're H-back type of guy. He's in the slot sometimes. He's at fullback sometimes. You don't know what we're going to be in. You're going to have to defend a lot of different schemes with him on the field.
So Jim D asked a question along those lines like you're talking about. Could Tremble play the Kyle Juszczyk role if drafted by the Jets? And so I think we have something, Kristen, on Tommy Tremble versus Kyle Juszczyk. They're measurables, height, weight, very similar. Vertical jump, broad jump, very similar. Bench press, very similar. They're the same person.
They're
except for in the looks department.
And I've had a firsthand look at both of these guys. I was working at New England when Juszczyk was at Harvard. I was there at his pro day. I was one of the main guys that kind of set up that work that day. There is a lot of similarities. There's no doubt about that. Listen, I'll go as far as like Tommy Tremble could be Juszczyk. Listen, Tommy Tremble could end up being George Kittle. George Kittle was a 4th-round pick who weighed, 243 pounds coming out? And I don't know if anyone looked at him and said, he's a traditional tight end.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. This guy blocks like Kittle, likes physicality like Kittle. And the speed and the ability to get open downfield, it's all there. Now, I don't know if there's off-the-field stuff or whatever else there that led to them not being the focus of the offense more. I don't have the answers to that.
That's a couple of pass catchers for Notre Dame you're questioning now. Tommy Tremble this year, Chase Claypool last year not getting the love, although he had the production there at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He was in the doghouse
No,
a little bit.
he was in a little
draft
doghouse
stock.
too. So, yeah, I don't know there. But
Wade Oliver said about Kittle,
Sure.
he goes, I see Tommy Tremble get compared to George Kittle. because of his lack of production in college, but both are really good blockers and good receivers.
Yeah.
Wade Oliver right there.
He's right, Wade. You're right. I'm with you. I wouldn't be shocked if this guy can be that at some point.
As a tight end in college, I would say that if I had very little production, I was like, that's George Kittle. I'm basically George Kittle.
I'm George Kittle.
No catches in college, I'm George Kittle.
Right. Well, we'd have to see the film to see if you could actually get open and do
block
stuff like
and
that.
But
he's an interesting specimen. He is. And he's a little bit, of a little bit of let's say a potential guy where you're looking at and to go, wait, I think if, in the NFL where they know how to use tight ends a little bit more and, he'll be coached a little more closely and watched that way, that he could be something. But, man, the way he blocks, the physicality is unreal. I would have a hard time thinking the kid is not somewhere towards the end of the second, mid-third round, doesn't go past that. But you don't get to see a lot of different route running. There's not a lot of different intricate routes and anything like that. That's going to be the big question going forward. But a Swiss Army knife who can really do anything and is a tough football player.
So that is number 3. Number 2 on your list, nicknamed Baby Gronk. Out of Penn State, Pat Freiermuth. Is he Baby Gronk?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Let's settle down with that. When you're called Baby Gronk, you have to be just a pure, just beast of a human being, and I mean that more in the physicality, way.
And off the field, you got to have a party side.
Right.
You got to really have it all.
Maybe this guy has that, and if you do, don't show it till after you get drafted. All right, it might hurt your stock. But here's a guy. This guy's NFL ready right now. I look at him to just go, this is kind of Hunter Henry, right? Hunter Henry for the Chargers, now on the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Second round pick. To me, this is the same type of guy. Really good in the pass game. You're going to be able to split him out. And the way he can move his feet, in short areas, stick his foot in the ground, come out of breaks, and really accelerate and do that. He's got a real pass game, element to him. He's going to be able to run some intricate routes like Travis Kelce does for the Chiefs, where it's like he's running across the field. Oh, wait, he stopped, and now he's going back out the other way. He's going to do all of that. He was really, I thought, a pretty special route runner. Blocking-wise, good. This is why he's not Baby Gronk. It's good, but he's more of a, I got my assignment done blocking. I didn't just absolutely maul you and destroy you, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I got no issue with that. I don't give a damn. I really don't. But I think, overall, there's not a lot of weakness or things to not like about the guy. I think he's NFL ready, like I said, and you're going to be able to do some different things with him in the pass game.
Yeah, he was an all-state linebacker in high school, basketball player in high school as well. Only did play 4 games last season because of a shoulder injury in 2020, but he's a 2-year team captain. Seems like a very confident guy from some of the scouting reports and reports from his teammates out there. So 6'5", 250, Pat Freiermuth.
I wish he would play bigger, right? Mm-hmm. For as good as he moves and things like that, that's one of the, doesn't play as big as his size, run blocking, or as a pass receiver with 50-50 balls, right? Don't get to see a ton of that where you're just like, wait, the way this guy moves and that, why don't they just split him out and let him dominate linebackers, do stuff like that more? So, I wish you got to see more of that. But the feet at the line of scrimmage, and his feet as a route runner and ability to burst and all that thing is by far the best thing he does. So he's got everything you want as a tight end. Like I said, I wish he was a little more physically dominating, but it was nothing to be concerned about. And I think that's also one of those things, too, where, again, NFL, you get around a lot of, alpha males and your coach is yelling at you a little bit more. Sometimes that makes young kids into men, for lack of a better way to say it, to where you find that physicality or aggressiveness or 50-50, I'm going to attack it and it's going to be 70-30, that type of stuff. He could get a little bit better at that, no doubt about that. But I think it's a really good tight end altogether, and somebody's going to be happy there in the mid-second to get him.
You've already seen enough to make him number 2 and room to improve for the Penn State tight end. But number 1, you've already given it away. That's okay.
Oh,
Everyone knew already. Out of Florida, Kyle Pitts. And I have a pet peeve with the term generational talent.
Oh, do you?
That's a big thing of mine.
It's way too common now.
So you were okay giving it to Penei Sewell, right? You thought generational is in the ballpark for him. All right, people are calling Kyle Pitts generational talent. And you only can throw that around once every 10 years at minimum, maybe once every 20 years.
I said that with Penny Sewell?
Yeah, you said he was borderline generational.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
You want to take that back?
No, I'm cool with that. I'm all right. It's a bold statement.
It's a bold statement because you can't, like, if you give it to Kyle Pitts here, you cannot give it to any tight end next year or the year after that. It's good. It, like, goes against the rules of generational talent.
What if, like, LeBron and Michael come out in 2 drafts in a row? Sometimes that happens.
That's not generational then. You're like, he's as good as the guy last year, basically. He's a one-year
generation.
1 year generation. Yeah. So Kyle Pitts, number 1 on your list. Are you willing to put generational talent in front of his name?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's not even not a doubt. I'm just like, because again, I didn't even think about this. I'm just going like off the top of my head here. Yeah, I mean, the guy Hawkinson was really awesome coming out.
He was a top 10 pick.
He was a top 10 pick. Yeah, there's a gap between this guy and Hawkinson, right? And that's no disrespect. I really like T.J. Hawkinson and what he could do. Mm-hmm. But like I don't recall seeing a tight end like this. I don't. This is a different animal in every way. You know, whether it's Eric Ebron, it's none of that. It's none of that. This is, first off, we know he's elite in the pass game, right? So the first thing I wanted to do was go, wait, is this just elite pass game and I don't block anybody? No. The guy blocks. Guy blocks. He wants to block. He's tough. You know, he has a nasty part of him. You know, is he the most perfect blocker in the world? No. He's not like the best I've ever seen, but it's damn good. It's better than any pass-catching tight end I can remember this way. So that's awesome, and you get to see it against some really quality players in the SEC. But, like, I think the first thing that jumps off to me is the body control. The body control, the 50-50 balls. Like, get out of here. It's domination. He is a true nightmare. You know, whether it's guys like, you know, my man Tyson Campbell or Patrick Surtain, who are 2 of my 3 top corners in the draft, mano-y-mano, all over him, doesn't matter. Touchdown, Kyle Pitts. He's just got such great body control, the arm length, the ability to adjust his body with the ball. Oh, I need to go down. I need to contort my body this way. Oh, I need to jump up and pluck it out of there. It can do it all. So that's the first thing. You just go, man, even when he's covered, it's like a slam dunk completion. That's amazing, let alone runs routes like a wide receiver. Let alone, I've never seen a guy this big catch balls, have people kind of on him and pull away the way he does. Like, pull away from SEC DBs where you're like, really? Like, that guy was on him and he gave him one nudge with the shoulder and he just pulled away from him for a 50-yard touchdown? Like, that's the crap you just go and go, okay, I get it now. I know why everybody is going top 10 pick, top 5 pick, whatever it may be. There's really not, like, it's pretty close to the perfect tight end.
He won the John Mackey Award in 2020 as the nation's top tight end. Also the first ever tight end to be named a finalist for the Fred Biletnikoff Award for the nation's top receiver.
Yeah, I get it.
So a question coming from Danny Wilson. He says, where does Kyle Pitts rank on the draft board with this year's wide receivers? So if you just lined them up out wide and took the blocking out of it, we're showing on YouTube here your top 6 wide receivers: Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, De'Ami Brown, Jalen Waddle, Kadarius Toney, Terrace Marshall Jr. Where would you put him there as just a wide receiver?
Like, I mean, when you take him, I'm allowed to take blocking into account here and all this stuff,
I guess
right?
because a wide receiver does block.
Yeah, I do.
Like, but you can't line him up at tight end anymore.
Oh, I can't line him up at tight end.
I don't know. Maybe. I'm just making my own rules here. Whatever.
I like, because you know I love fast receivers.
Yes, that's true.
I don't know, though. I think if you have a tight end like this, he's number 1 of this group. He's number 1 of this group.
Because you're going to move him in and block a little bit.
There's just going to be so many different things you can do. He's
number 1 pass catcher. Like if you're just the umbrella of pass catcher, you're taking him number 1 in this.
I think so. There's to me such a high ceiling and a high floor. I just don't see anything here to question at all.
Yeah.
And at that position, you know, you can find ways to manipulate matchups through formations and things like that too. So, you know, yeah, I guess I'm saying is I would take him. I mean, you know, I wrote, here you go. I mean, you heard me say with the body control.
Yep.
Dude's a legit blocker. Ability to catch the ball and reaccelerate is off the charts good. Like a top-end wide receiver. I wrote maybe better. So, I mean, that says something. And then I wrote, one of my last things I wrote, I mean, one-on-one. I said he's basically unstoppable. He can beat you with all his physical ability, the route running, the speed, everything like that. But then the jump balls, like I told you already, he dominates, Ahmed. It's like domination. They don't have a chance. And that's where I guess I give guys like this, the edge over a Jamar Chase or a Devontae Smith, who I love so much. But I really the perfect tight end. There's nothing not to love about his game. He can do it all and all at a high level. And the pass game ability is through the roof good. His run blocking ability is really good for a pass catching tight end. And he's a for sure thing, top 10 pick.
Colorado Dancer says, ahoy from London.
Ahoy.
Sorry about the Super League thing. He's probably bummed out about that.
Yeah.
If Kyle Pitts is sitting there at number 6, should Miami take him over any receiver? I feel like Mike Gesicki is on his way to becoming one of the best tight ends in the league. How will he feel if Pitts comes aboard? So what do you think?
That's a great question.
Number 6.
I would say, I think he answered it. I think I would go receiver for them. Gesicki is a legit pass-catching tight end. He's a nightmare that way. I would try to go, again, Devontae Parker, who's had an injury history. I like Preston Williams, right? They're not game breakers. I think with that group of guys right there, I want one game breaker, and that's where I'm going to go Devontae or Jamar Chase there. That's what I would do.
Kristen, do you have the top 10 tight ends that have been drafted here? I guess that's over recent years, just to see. Hawkinson not that long ago was a top 10 by the Lions.
Right. Ricky Dudley, my old teammate.
Eric Ebron, Vernon Davis in 2006. So there haven't been many over the last 25 years.
No.
Kellen Winslow was 6 overall in 2004. Ricky Dudley, as you mentioned. Kyle Brady before that in 1995. So
still a pretty good group. I mean, even Kyle Brady, it was a decent career. It didn't quite work out the way. Ricky Dudley had a very good career overall and was an amazing blocker.
Yeah.
The rest of these guys. Hey, Kellen Winslow. We know Vernon Davis was real good, had a great. Kellen Winslow had a chance to be special. I mean, of course, the biggest thing he did was the wreck on the motorcycle, right, where he tore his ACL. But that was a little bit like this guy we're just talking, where you'd go, wait, he can beast defensive ends, and then he can run routes like a receiver and do stuff like that. He was a pretty special talent.
All right, so let's put Kyle Pitts on the team. If you have
Atlanta
at number 4.
That's what I would do.
Wow.
If I'm Atlanta, that's where I would go. I would. I just, they have some young offensive linemen. You got Calvin Ridley and Julio. I would not go the quarterback at number 4. Not in the year 2021 where quarterbacks are playing till 40 and they're playing really well. You got Matt Ryan. To me, you got 2 or 3 real good years left in him, like real good. So I wouldn't abandon that to just go, wait, there's a quarterback who I think has a lot of talent and I think can be good in the league. But I got one right here that's really good and a franchise guy. And we could still win a Super Bowl with him. To me, I just wouldn't trade that in quite yet. I wouldn't. I would go with the Kyle Pitts and make that offense a handful to deal with and try to build the rest of their team.
How sick would that be? Julio, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Matt Ryan, it's like at that point, Matt Ryan's like, I'll play forever. I'll play forever with these weapons around.
It'll put some teams in a bind, that's for sure. There's no doubt.
All right, the final recap. Let's look at your rankings here, 1 through 5. You said honorable mention was Hunter Long out of Boston College at number 6, just outside.
Yeah.
Kristen, there it is. Kyle Pitts, number 1. Pat Freiermuth, number 2. Tommy Tremble, 3, out of Notre Dame. Brevin Jordan, 4. And Briley Moore, 5. This class, pretty good. Seems like some good talent guys.
I think that, yes. You got some guys that I like. Listen, I think Moore and Freiermuth and Pitts, guaranteed going to have good careers. Jordan and Tremble, hey, they could be stars. But, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a lower floor with those guys, too, to talk about. Hunter Long, just to hit on him, too, with the outside, there's a lot to like. Reminded me a little bit of like Austin Hooper coming out of Stanford a few years ago. I wish he was a little better in the pass game, a little tougher catching the ball with people around him, doing stuff like that. There was a lack of physical element in the pass game that I didn't like from Hunter Long. I think that's what bothered me about him more than blocking. He was really damn good. But pass game, he did not play with, like, could not catch the ball in traffic and make some of those plays or do anything special that way. That's why I kind of made him just off the list here, but definitely want to give him a little credit.
And that is it.
Woo-woo!
You're done looking at tape. The Prospect Rundown presented by Applebee's.
There's a few guys. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Like, there's a few guys. Well, there's a few guys like I want to go back and watch again.
You're like your dad. You're just like your dad.
Right. Now, I have to go to more than one position than he does because he just gets to watch one.
I know.
But yes, like, listen, I'm no idiot here, and I always self-scout thyself, as you've heard me say. But like the mock draft community, all the people, they love Greg Newsome from Northwestern and Kelvin Joseph from Kentucky, to where it just like it's unanimous their first round. Almost every mock draft I see, it's first round. I just did not see it that way at all. So, like, I'm going to go back and watch it again to go, wait, did I miss something? Am I wrong here?
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see. I got a few of those guys where I just want to go back and watch one more time to feel a little bit better about it.
Last thing we're going to do, from our friends at PointsBet, the official sports book of NBC Sports, over-under on Kyle Pitts' draft position right now is 5.5. So you would, if you were the GM of Atlanta, you would take Kyle Pitts and the under there.
Yes.
Penny Sewell at 6.5. Looks like Trey Lance at 6.5, and
but I think if you made
Slater at 9.5.
Ooh, yeah.
What would you do with Kyle Pitts? Would you?
I think if you're going to make me bet, I'd go with the over.
You think he'll go? You don't think Atlanta will take him?
I mean, that's what I answered it as what I would do.
Bengals, you don't think he'll take him, and then that'll be a team after.
No, the Bengals interesting at 5. I expect Penny Sewell. I do, again, I hold out the outside shot of them where I just go, would they reunite Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow and just say, like, the hell with it, we're going to go with the air show here and see if you can match up with us? I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's crazy. But I guess if I'm them with Sewell, as good as he is, Joe Burrow's knee hurt, all that, I'd probably go, tackle first, get a receiver at the top of the second round if you want to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
We got the full mock draft.
Boom.
Coming up on
Monday.
And you do it. You don't try to get into the head of other GMs. You look at teams' rosters and try to think what you would do.
What I would do. And this is like one where I'll ask you right now, and any of the homies listening out there, like, what should I do? Should I do the draft? Should I do my mock draft like that?
You should do it as if you were the GM of each team. Or should I do it
and try to knock it out and be like, no, I think this is what's going to happen right here?
No, I don't like that. Okay. Because I think enough people do that.
Okay, good.
Right? And all you can control is like what. So put yourself as the GM of every single team.
Yeah. All right,
You agree, Pete? Do you think that's a good idea? Yeah, Pete says yes.
Yeah, Pat, he's not listening. He's feeding one of his kids a bottle. Right
He's like, you guys have been going on for an hour and a half.
He's like, shut up. All right. Well, we did it. Hour and a half.
We
Boom.
did it.
Yes.
We always do it.
We always do it.
The finish line.
All right, everybody. Be good. Hope everybody enjoyed that. Tight ends. Ask me any questions. We're going to continue the AMAs, everything like that.
Yep.
Thursday podcast this week. Going to be a little different. We're going to play our the interviews I've done with De'Ami Brown, Kellen Mond, and Caleb Farley. That's going to be the Thursday podcast. They're giving me a little time off, a little breather.
Wow.
I don't know why they're doing that, actually.
That's
I'm
a
not
bad
really
idea.
sure.
You don't need it.
Thank you. You want to give me more work, don't you?
Yeah, come into the office anyway.
But we will be doing mock draft on Monday. And please keep the questions coming. I'm loving this. This draft is crazy. I have no idea how this is going to play out. I'm interested in everything. Top 10, these quarterbacks, all of it, the COVID opt-outs. Let's continue to talk about it. Great questions. You the man. Thanks for driving the ship. Clap it up. Yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Peace out, everybody.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.